Okay, trigger control is fairly simple, and the main thing you really want to do is squeeze the trigger in a way that doesn't disturb the lay of the weapon. If you jerk it or pull it to one side or the other, it'll I mean, watch when I do this, like I'm just aiming at that berm there. But when I pull like that, I'm actually tugging it. But when you squeeze straight back, and it's basically you're not wanting to move the weapon at all. And the way I've always taught, and I know some people I've seen operators shoot where their whole meat of their hand comes over and they're doing some weird shit like that, and they can hit amazingly. But I can't shoot like that. It's not my style, and that's not how I shoot. I take from the first knuckle here on my finger to the tip and split that difference. And if anything, I get closer to the tip than I do the other. So I kind of go from about right there in the center of that tip, or in this pad right here, or further. And you're just squeezing straight back rather than jerking, because that'll make a huge difference, and it'll make your rifle move from side to side.
In your knuckle, gonna pull left. And
Yeah.
Right.
Just imagine where the center of your fingerprint would be.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really the easiest way.
Yeah, and if you see on the target, when you're looking at your target and you notice all your bullets are like this, you're probably pulling like that, and you're probably or jerking it, and that makes a big difference. Anything to add on trigger control? It's pretty simple.
We do that real quick with pistol.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more noticeable on pistol if you.
Yeah, so running Glocks or 2011s or anything, I mean, the fundamentals are still the same. So I have a clear path here, so I'm going to present. So if I'm here, so by the time I get my sight picture, my trigger should already be prepped. So by the time I'm ready to make that decision, when I find and acquire that proper sight picture, I'm there. So a lot of people, they have a tendency, they rest their finger off of the trigger, and what they'll do is they go, oh, fire. You know, that brain sends a signal to your trigger finger and goes, oh, that's the sight picture I want, and then lam. So if you're right-handed and you're doing that, more than likely you're going to duck low left every time. So the purpose of like single stage triggers or like 2011 triggers, 1911, they have a very crisp break. It's straight back. It's not on a fulcrum. It's straight back. So what happens is I have that sight picture and click. So, you know, that take up in the triggers is trying to figure out where that wall is on your pistol, whether it's a Glock or, you know, whatever it is finding that wall and getting it prepped to that point. That way, when your brain goes, that's the sight picture I want, a nice even press through that trigger, pulling straight back, it mitigates the distance that you have to make mistakes. So if you have a long trigger pull and you don't have proper trigger discipline on how to break that trigger, you're going to keep squeezing, and more than likely you're going to start tensing up your hand, and it's going to push you low left. If you're left hand, you're going to push so it's going to push you low right. So that's the point of I teach a 4-step, you know, draw to prep, and then from 3 to 4. So 3 is I have the sight picture I want, and that trigger's already prepped. That way I'm mitigating that distance I have for my body to make mechanical mistakes. So is that click? Can I see your Glock real quick?
Yeah, I was just going to talk about Glock.
Yeah. So we have a Glock. So Glocks and striker fired are mostly, they have a fulcrum right up here. So it's the same thing. So this right here, so that movement right there, I've found my wall. That's exactly where I want to be before I break my shot. So, you know, we disengage that safety, and then right there. So when I make that shot, it's going to go from there to there. So there is a little bit extra pull with a striker fire because of that fulcrum. There are aftermarket triggers that we can get to mitigate that, but when you do that, just because it's super light or super short doesn't make it a good trigger, in my opinion. I want a proven trigger that breaks and pulls where I want it to, because if somebody else was to grab your firearm, especially in a altercation, and you're running a super short reset and a super short trigger, you are more prone to NDs that way. And if you don't know where that wall is on your gun, you might pull through that. So when you're going for that trigger prep, so if I'm here, so I've already got that prepped. So I can click from there to there. So if you're that guy that just wants a super light trigger, I would notice what I'm using that gun for. I would, if it's for range day and stuff, that's fine. But if you have something like that laying around or somebody else has to use it, just let them be aware of that type of setup, because you can, in my opinion, you can go past of what you're wanting to achieve with that. I don't like spongy triggers. Like most Glocks, any gun, you can find that wall proper.
Yeah.
And then you can pull through there with proper discipline. But if you get one to where that wall is like ever creeping, and it's just like, okay, maybe that's it, bam, and then you don't know, you don't have that definitive thing. So under pressure, more likely you're just going to be yanking that trigger anyways, and hopefully you'll fall on the fundamentals that you built up to that point. But if you're just after that because it's light or super short, that's not what I would distinguish makes a good trigger.
Yeah, I don't like really light trigger pulls either, but one of the things, I'm glad you tapped on that, because it was what I was telling you yesterday with the when you come out of your holster. Let me double check. There we go. When you break the holster, the way I've been taught is, as you break the holster, this is position 0 for us, and then position 1, you see I automatically pop it out and I bring it like that. Well, my body is in alignment with my target. So if I panic, and I'm prepping the trigger from here, so if I panic and they're running up on me and I shoot right here, I'm gonna hit them somewhere because my body's in alignment with them and my pistol's there. But as I come up, what you naturally want to do is, and this takes a lot of practice, and you have to really understand the pistol that you're using or the weapon that you're using to understand that slack. But you're prepping the trigger all the way through, prep until you get to the end where it drops, the hammer drops right. Ideally, it would drop right as soon as you get to full extension, because that's when your brain has already done all the calculations for the best possible sight picture that you're going to get and sight alignment that you're going to get. Because if you hold it out there, you're going to start, and there's a lot of.
Well, that's the mechanical manipulation that you don't want.
Right.
Is waiting all the way to the end to figure out where you're at, then going, I need to fire.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
already prepped, and then as soon as you get to where you want to be, you can break that shot.
It should drop as soon as you hit that full extension, because that's when your body and your mind have already made everything in lined up.
Yep.
And it lines up automatically. But
I will add something to that.
every weapon's different.
What Jason was just talking about, coming out of the holster and going here first. I was taught, whether it's pistol or rifle, the idea of always having a shooting solution. So with pistol, that for me is, as soon as I come out of the holster, once I'm here, I'm already getting on the trigger. And like Ken was talking about, prepping the trigger. So right here, I'm already getting on it and then going out to full extension. But what that allows you to have, like Jason said, is a shooting solution for right here. Because if somebody is 25 yards away and they're the problem, I'm getting shot at, yeah, I can draw and look and then come down and do my whole thing. But if they're from me to Jason, I need a shooting solution right now.
And coming at you.
And it's the same with rifle. If we look at a rifle, a lot of people teach room clearance and everything, and if I'm going around the corner and I do this to get around the corner, I don't have a shooting solution there.
Absolutely.
But if I do this to come around the corner, if I'm turning in this way and I do this number, when I round the corner, this isn't the best grip for a rifle, but I have a shooting solution, and it's drop my safety and pull the trigger. You know, and it's exactly the same with pistol. If you're in a position where you can have a solution to pull the trigger in the direction you want to shoot before you have everything all lined up, do that. Because if, you know, like I said, if with a rifle, if they're around in the corner and I come around there, well, they're 2 feet in front of me, I'm not going to lose control of this gun. I'm also not going to avoid shooting. You know, you can shoot, and come up here. And the same idea.
You have a gun in your hand for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, it's not like we're, you know, tinking off. It's like if you've made the decision to go to your sidearm or to your primary weapon, it's because there's a reason for it. So like you said, and there's a couple different versions of that. So me personally, I throw mine up high, you know, so I still have that line of sight, but you know, and you can go under, and there's different theories to that and different applications for either one of those. So if you're going down a hallway and your point is be at the end of the hallway, and if you're short, you can turn in and out of rooms, clear those quickly, and it depends on your stack of guys, or if you're doing it by yourself. I don't ever recommend doing CQB by yourself, but there's, you know, if your family's involved, you know, that's completely different.